Welcome back to our tutorials. So in the previous one, we started setting up our inventory chest, and we noted that they're basically mirroring each other. And that's because, excuse me, that's because the software doesn't know the difference between this slot 1 object and this one. We do, human logically, but the computer doesn't. So we have to start differentiating these two based upon whichever layer they're on. So let's start that by actually going to our inventory check, and let's also bring up our chest inventory check as well. And what we want to do is we want to start adding a subcondition that says to do this only if the item or the object is on a specified layer. So let's add a condition here, comment conditions for all objects. And down here at layer, now this to me seems a little confusing. Compare layer makes it sound like you're just looking at two layers and comparing them in some way. But when you click on that and you read the description, it says check if the object is on the specified layer. That's definitely what we're looking for here, so don't get confused. This probably should be called something like on layer. But let's go ahead and say we want to see if an item from our grouping is on the inventory layer, because that's what we're working with here, is the inventory check. And let's copy and paste this in. And then let's go to our chest inventory check. And we can even paste this here and just change the layer to chest inventory. Hit OK. And let's copy and paste this in here as well. Okay, now it'll delete an object only if it's on the chest inventory layer for this external event or the inventory layer for this one. Now, we do need to change this variable here. We need to add this variable. So let's go to Project Manager, Global Variables, and let me see if inventory check is here. No, we left inventory check as a free-floating global variable. So we'll do the same here with chest inventory. We'll say chest inventory check, right, as a new global variable. Hit apply. And in our chest inventory EE, we're going to say chest inventory check if that equals 1. Let's go to the bottom and let's close this out, bookend it. All right, so we can shut the code down when we need it to stop. All right, so we're starting to differentiate the two now. Now we need to change this as well, right? So we need to change a few things here. We need to change this variable to chest inventory.11.isFilled, because we're only dealing with page 1 right now. We'll have to add a check for current page. So let's copy this actually. Control C, and let's paste this in with Control V. And see, can we just leave it like that? Yeah, we can. And let's go down the line here and change this to 2. Actually, I think it's easier to actually just copy. It's easier to just copy part of this right there. And that way, when you do a paste, it'll automatically bring this up and we can just choose. So .2. Okay, then we'll go down to 3. Okay. Again, take your time. This says 4 is filled. And 5. All right, last one. Okay, now let's come up here to the top of this section. This is going to take a little more time. Let's go into our code here, and that stays the same. But this, of course, is different. This is our starting position for this new item is going to be global variable menus.chest container dot position x. This is going to stay the same here, so we can even just copy this. Okay, we can paste this, change this to y. This is similar to what we did last time, actually. And change the inventory layer to chest inventory. And that looks good. Let's hit OK. And then let's come down here. And now we need to change this, right? This is our expression that we created. And we actually want to change this to, well, we're working with our chest inventory now, right? So chest, yeah, that's right. Chest inventory .1.1.item ID.name. That works. And change this. If you still have that previous copied expression, we can put it in right here. And let's put this in here and change it to y. Okay, and make sure, oh, we almost missed one there. Make sure the layer is chest inventory. And this needs to be changed to chest inventory.1.1 and hit OK. All right, let's go through this again really quickly just so we understand what's going on, and then you can fill in the rest and we'll come back together when you're done. So we left the empty slot to the text of slot 1. But I think we need to, I'm going to check this out again. I think we need to we need to put the item on this layer here as well. Let me see. Text empty slot to slot 1. I feel like this is going to change empty slot on our other layer as well. All right, I'm going to leave this for now, and then we'll come back to that. So then in here, we left this the way it was. We changed our starting position of this object to chestcontainer.posx. We left the offset the same, and then we did the same for here. We changed the starting position of y, left the offset the same, and then just changed our layer. In this second condition here, we had to update our expression to be chestinventory.1.1 item ID. We're going to be changing the slot of this one only as we move forward, right? Not the page 1. And then we changed a similar way to our previous one. We changed the expression here to .1.1 and the start position to chest container. Let me do one more. We'll do one more together and then I'll leave the rest to you. This stays the same, right? This now has to reflect slot 2. So I'm going to paste in what I've been holding in my copy, which is the beginning position, chest container.position x. Slot 2 stays the same here. I paste this in, change this to y, and change my layer to chest inventory. And then I hit OK. Next, I'm going to come down to here and make sure I change, wait, did I skip one? I did skip one, sorry. I come back to 2 here, and now this is going to become chest inventory .1 .2, leave the .2 there because we're dealing with slot 2 now, right? And I've got to change it up here, the expression, to chest inventory .1 .2, and change my starting position. Change it here as well, but change the X to Y, and change the layer to chest inventory. Okay, now go in for the rest of these and make the necessary changes based upon the slot number. Okay, welcome back. Take your time, okay? Make sure you've made all the necessary changes to the expressions that are in here, right? It should be chest inventory. Don't forget the page first, then the slot number. Okay, make sure your layers are the same. Let's see how we did. All right, let's run a check for this variable. Remember, we first have to set this to 1 in order to run that check. So let's go to our basic Kingdom Room code here, and let's add a check to our show layer. We'll change the value of the variable chest inventory check, there it is. Set it equal to 1, and let's run that check before we show the layer. All right, let's see if we've made any changes here to our inventories. Okay, let's bring up the chest with D. Ah, look at that. Okay, so the reason why it did that, notice our objects stayed here, fine, but the slot changed, the slot text, I should say. Now look at it, going back and forth. It's just going back and forth because it doesn't know what else to do with it. So obviously we haven't discriminated enough between the slots. Look at that. Let's try to put this check in here in slot 1 and see if it just doesn't change slot 1. Let's run our preview again. Okay, now I'm going to delete this. It's still mirroring each other. So where is it doing that? It's creating that. Chest inventory. What about here? Let's try copying and pasting that and putting it in here. And let's see what that does. Ah, we gotta do a little bit of debugging here. Let's delete these. All right. So I think in the next tutorial we're gonna do a little bit of debugging. Always a good thing to practice. Okay, so we'll do that in the next video.